So I started this channel because I realized I aimed better with smaller mice. That's been the main recommendation. To find a mouse that works for you, that's about 60% of your hand measurements. That's the older rule though. For more accurate recommendations, I think it's better to use the 3.0 rule. So you just measure your middle finger all the way to the knuckle, and that's how long the mouse should be. You can just check by putting it on top. And for width, put your 3 fingers together and just measure across the knuckles there. I explained that in a video already, so I'll leave the link to that in the description. But basically, you can actually put your 3 fingers on the base of the mouse, and it should be about the same size too. I would go a little smaller if possible. Now if you haven't used smaller mice before, and I say smaller because it's relative to your hand size, you'll probably think this is too small. And that's the point of this challenge, because the reason I started the channel was I forced myself to use a smaller mouse, and actually found my aim was better than ever before. Now I'm using the mouse I designed, the MZ1, which is even smaller, and of course I'm aiming at my best. So yeah, before I got used to smaller mice, my hand used to cramp all the time. I was so worried about it, and the pain, that I considered just returning the mouse. But despite the pain, I just stuck with it, and now I don't actually have any pain at all. It's fine, I can use tiny mice and no problem. It's just something you have to adjust to. So that's the challenge. Get a smaller mouse, one that's just a bit below your hand size measurements as I said earlier, and see if you can aim better after about 3 weeks. So just use that mouse. I wanted to do this challenge with Kyle from the channel Too Much Tech, because he keeps asking for big mice, and I'm like, are you sure you want that? So I spoke to him about it, and he agreed to the challenge. Alright, so question time with Kyle, the man himself from Too Much Tech. You don't want small mice. Explain yourself.
So basically, I just find small mice hard to use for long periods of time when it comes to the ergonomics of them. Like I appreciate, the accuracy, the slightly easier ability to be able to throw them around and whatnot. But as far as ergonomics and comfort, I just feel like larger mice are superior, of course.
I mean, yeah, for comfort, generally a mouse that fills your hand more is going to be better. What about when you want to get competitive though, or how competitive do you get these days?
These days, I would definitely say semi-competitive when I do game, but not nearly as seriously as I used to be back in the day when games were actually quite fun. Like nowadays, games they're okay, but I would say that they're probably 40% as fun as they used to be 5 years ago, for example.
I definitely believe we've passed the golden age of gaming. I hope it comes back, but yeah, I hear you. So I'd guess you'd be after something between comfort and competitive then? So if we say the smaller ones are more competitive and bigger are for comfort, what kind of mice have you been using?
Last year, I went from using the Logitech G Pro X Superlight down to the Pulsar X2 Mini because it was a little bit more supportive in a different way. Like it had a little bit more support toward the rear. So you got a little bit more palm support from that mouse. And then super late last year, the Ninjutsu Sora came out, which basically did the same thing to another extent, but it was a little bit lighter and reasonably smaller. So I felt like my aim was a lot more consistent with the Sora as opposed to the other two mice. So now we're going to do a little bit of a challenge to put your theories to the test. And we kind of already did see some of the results already. So I'm pretty excited about this challenge.
Yeah, I'll put those on screen. The average was about 4% difference, I think.
Right. Exactly 4%. And that was really without much practice at all.
Yeah, so after 3 weeks, it'll be interesting to see how much that percentage changes. And this is the smaller mouse challenge. So based on your previous choices, we decided that the Fanatec Bolt was the next size down. It's a safe shape, great features, 5.6cm grip width, a good medium mouse. It's actually one of my favorites out there at the moment.
Honestly, I do appreciate the recommendation for the Bolt too, because in isolation at work, when I wasn't really using this mouse to game, I just thought it was, fairly comfortable and I wasn't gripping it nearly as hard to claw grip. So I was kind of doing more of a softer ergo grip at work, of course. I'm not focusing on my aim. When I game, I'm gripping it a little bit more with intention because I am claw gripping it to get the best aim. And the Fanatec Bolt, even though it's very similar in size to the X2 Mini, it's a lot more narrow in the middle of the mouse where you grip it. And I can see how this could potentially benefit me. So we're going to put that to the test for sure. I haven't used it since the past maybe 9 or 10 months or so when I first got it in, but I think this will be a nice chance to revisit it in a different light.
Absolutely. Also, just a reminder with these smaller mice, it will take your hand some time to adjust, so everyone be patient, and if it still hurts, push through the pain for the 3 weeks. Unless it's really hurting after 2, then maybe change to something bigger. but the idea of this challenge is to get you used to smaller mice. Grip width being the most important measurement for aim, and length is more about your grip style. And even if you're not going pro, it still makes sense to get a smaller mouse, because you'll be aiming better naturally, and you won't need to put in as much effort, which makes it more fun to play.
Sounds like a plan to me, so I'm just gonna get to work with this Fnatic Bolt, see what we can do. I did have a good time when I reviewed it all that time ago as well, and I did enjoy this mouse. It is really good as far as the features of the mouse, the clicks, the build quality, the design. I think it's just a very clean looking mouse aesthetically, but outside of how it looks, comfort wise, I did think that it was comfortable initially, but I think that with a more intentional claw grip, I think that the true performance, especially after long-term use, is really gonna show.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. Everyone can check back in 3 weeks to see the results. We will do another video then. I've just been showing how we're going to do the test in Quake Champions Instagib, free to play on Steam, so download it, set up a custom server for yourself using these settings, go as hard as you can, don't worry about how you're aiming, just do it as fast as possible. Then at the end, check this accuracy stat, and then repeat the test over and over, maybe 5 to 10 times, and do that once per week to check your progress.
All right. Just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Rocket Jump Ninja for coming up with this challenge and this idea. Really wanting to help improve my aim, so definitely eager to see the results in the next few weeks.
And a big thank you to you too. Always good when someone is open to new ideas and is willing to take a challenge, so really looking forward to seeing how well you do. Until then, good luck with the testing, and we'll see you in 3 weeks.
Sounds good, Zai. I look forward to doing this challenge and improving my aim. If you guys want to join the challenge with us as well, you should definitely post your hand size as well as the mouse that you plan on using during the challenge in the comment section below, so that we can all get some feedback and suggestions as well as ideas from each other on what other mice we should give a go.
Right, so this challenge goes out to everyone who hasn't tried smaller mice. It worked for me and many others, so please give this a proper try, and hopefully, like us, you'll be aiming better than before too. Okay, now I sound like an infomercial, but seriously, give it a try. I'll make the results video in 3 weeks with Kyle, but so you have time to go buy a new mouse and try it, I'll probably upload it in about a month or so you can do this challenge with us. Definitely leave your comments below, love to hear your experiences, and if you need recommendations, jump on my website. It is a little outdated, I apologize for that. I've been working on my novels again and just been really busy, but I tried to work with some mice again soon, so stay tuned. You can follow Kyle's progress by watching his stream, if he streams. Otherwise, go check his channel, I'll leave the links in the description. And until then, sub, like and share, catch ya.